congratulations on Blueback. It's wonderful to talk to both of you. So
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
beautiful movie too. I felt like I had to wear blue just to match the gorgeous aesthetics and wonderful underwater shots in that film. It's just it's kind of beautiful. But anyway, so my first question is for both of you. I'd really love to know what kind of inspired you about the roles to take it on, and just, you know, I know that you had worked with Robert before Eric, but something must have been about the script that really caught your eye.
Yeah, I thought it was a really beautiful, really immersive story. I love where it was set. I loved everything it said about our oceans and our environment, and I just thought it would be a lot of fun to be a part of. Obviously, a supporting role, and me had already climbed on board, and I was really excited that she was a part of this as well. And we've both known Rob for a long time, and it's always fun to collaborate with him. But yeah, first and foremost, I thought it was just a really great, positive film.
Yeah, and Mia as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, like Robert Connolly is a great friend of both of us, the director, and he has a really infectious sort of enthusiasm. And he sent me the script one night, and I read it that night, and then the next morning I was like, all right, I'm doing it. And it just came at a time when, you know, we'd spent a year locked down in the pandemic, and nothing seemed more wonderful than getting outside and being, you know, with some friends, and making a movie that was full of heart and really inspiring, and reminded us of sort of those simple sort of pleasures in life that, you know, remind us why it's important to take care of our oceans and our environment.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, I think the film is very layered. Obviously, there's a family dynamic, there's the, you know, ocean conservation element. And I think it's really a love letter to the area. And I'm just wondering, is it in any way like felt like a personal story, not necessarily connected directly to your life, but like because of the area? And I'm just wondering for each of you, because of where you're from, I don't know, as far as in relation to where this was filmed and the reefs and everything, but.
Yeah. Well, we shot in Western Australia in this place called Bremer Bay, which is just absolutely beautiful. I don't have a personal connection to Western Australia. This was the first time I'd been there, but I grew up spending a lot of time on the south coast of Australia, and that's really especially important to my family. So yeah, and I felt like there was a little bit of a parallel between the experiences that Abby was having and that my nieces and nephews are having growing up on the coast. And I just loved it. I thought that they'd love it, and that I hope that it inspired other people to kind of care in the same way that I see my nephews and niece.
Yeah, to me, it felt familiar in the sense that I feel like growing up in Australia, we're just used to being part of the environment, because the environment really dictates so much of what happens to us, whether it be through extreme heat or through storm or bushfires or whatever. So we have this kind of reverence for the environment without really being like a conscious thing. And I think the film is so immersive in terms of, as you talk about that sense of place that Abby and Dora have for where they grow up. I think it speaks to Australians in a particular way. And I'm sure that travels as well, because it is a very unique thing. I was very envious watching the film of this amazing relationship between mother and daughter in this beautiful place, and I love the way that that your mum kind of like exposes you to some adult themes, but through the natural world. It's really special.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that was a really intelligent kind of way to do that. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, add to that and giving her a sort of sense of responsibility, but at the same time, sense of awe. So there's that sort of passion that builds in this young girl, and the feeling that she can do something about it.
And I'm just wondering because I know you mentioned your nieces and your family. Is it always exciting? Like, have you shared this film with them? Have you gotten feedback? Like, did you feel, because this is definitely a family film. I think this is something that can really translate to anybody at any age. So I'm just wondering personally if that was something you love to do, is to be able to show a film to, you know.
Yeah, and I haven't had the chance to do that very often because not all of the films
Yeah.
I do are sort of family friendly. But really, I mean, aside from working with Robert and Eric and getting to have an experience that I knew would be great because because I know these people, but the main reason was that I really wanted my nephews and niece to see it, and it just they had. I mean, I felt inspired by them and the way that they're integrated with nature in their everyday lives, that I just thought, yeah, that they would like it. And um, yeah, so it was pretty nice. We had a screening on the coast with a bunch of sort of family and friends, and it was one of the nicest sort of, it was in a tiny little cinema on the coast of Australia, and 30 of our family friends came, and everybody was crying. And I sent Robert Connolly a text afterwards, being like, target audience. We
Mhm.
just annihilated them. It was just
Success.
could not
Yeah,
have been more a target audience. It was so good. It's lovely.
lovely. And yeah, it also gives, I think awareness to a younger generation too, which
Yeah.
I think is great. Now, you're obviously both portraying characters that are very familiar with the water. I'm just wondering if either of you have any like diving experience, or I know Mia, you spend more time actually on camera, in water, but did you have to do any lessons, or was it something that you already knew, anything previously?
I did a little bit of free diving training and some training, which was great. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in the water, and I feel really confident in the ocean, but I haven't done scuba diving before, so that was sort of really new for me. I really had a great time. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a little bit of scuba diving, but didn't have to do anything, nowhere near as much as
Right.
yeah, for this film. I was more on top of the water and just responding to our
Talking about it.
younger cast.
Going in.
Yeah, yeah, having a great time with young Ariel and Elsa, who was in her first film. So it's always exciting to be a part of that journey with the young actors.
Yeah, speaking of that, Mia, with being three Abbeys, did you kind of all get together and spend time together so it kind of felt like a cohesive, uh, you know, it was all
Yeah.
you and,
Yeah.
growing up, having those three. Yeah.
We had a really small crossover in between our um, parts of the shoot where
Yeah.
we got together and really just hung out. We didn't sort of have any conversations about what we were going to do or anything. It was really just for us to get to know each other and spend some time together. And they were just wonderful. And then 2 years later, I see them in the film, and I just blown away by them. They did such a wonderful job, and they're both such strong performers and quite different as people, but
Mhm.
just really brought the character together. So it was great to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you all three did a terrific job. I feel like the trajectory makes sense. It feels natural and organic, and I really thought that it was great casting. So that's
Yeah.
why I was wondering if you guys did spend time together, because it just seemed like it melded really well,
Oh, that's
which is
amazing.
always what you're looking for, right? When you have a
Yeah.
someone that's playing by multiple, cast. So I am curious, you've both been in a lot of different kinds of films, um, very many terrific performances over the years. Is there something in particular that you look for? Because I feel like you both have done such a wide variety. Like, are you looking to be challenged? Is there something in particular you want to do something you've never done? Or is it really something about like the character, something that needs to like personally connect or inspire you? And that's for both of you, obviously.
I think it's always changing, I mean, obviously, I'm always looking for something that's going to be challenging. I'm always looking for something that's interesting. I won't do something that I think is going to be good for me. In that sense, like I'm just looking for something that is that I respond to and that I feel responds to in terms of my energy, but also that I've always responded to things that I have an idea for. So if I read something and I can see myself in that role and I have ideas for the character, they're the ones I usually say yes to. and you want to be challenged. I mean, obviously, the longer your career goes, the harder it is in terms of not repeating yourself or constantly finding things that are different. That gets more and more challenging as you go. So it's, for me, it's a case of just finding things that inspire me, things that I have the energy for, and like I say, the ones that I feel like I can make a contribution to in some way.
Love that.
Yeah. And yes, similarly, like you get to explore such a wide variety of people and issues and skills. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting, I guess, and you always want to try something different. And yeah, it's one of the sort of real joys of doing what we do, I guess, is you get this really wide variety of experiences. So yeah. And then
Yeah.
it's just a bonus if you get to do it with people that you really enjoy.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I have time for one last question. It's kind of a two-parter, but it's very short, I promise. I know you probably had a very long day of interviews already. But I'm just wondering what you're hoping that the audience will take away from it. And also if you could just give like a quick kind of, if you were doing an intro to who your character is for someone that hasn't seen it. Whoever wants to start.
Well, I play Abby, who's like a young marine biologist who's trying to sort of save the world's reefs. And you sort of see her story, where she's come from, and see that, looking back at her childhood, that she was inspired by her mum and her relationship to her local sort of bay. And I hope that people are moved by it, and I hope that they're inspired, and that it's a little bit of a call to action for people to sort of contribute in a way to either their local environment or the, in whatever way that they can.
Yeah, well, I play Mad Macca, who is the kind of mysterious fisherman, the old kind of sea dog of the film, and I just hope people, come away with a sense of feeling as though they have lived in Dora and Abby's world. I think our director's done a beautiful job of giving you a real sense of place and a really immersive experience, and made you feel like you've visited part of the Australian coastline that you may never get to see, and you can see it and smell it and feel it and learn something about our underwater creatures, and in particular the mighty western blue groper, who lives a very, very long time and whose environment is very important to them.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, just I'm in Maine and I felt immersed in Australia.
That's
And that's
great.
quite a ways away.
That's
But
great.
wildly different. But thank you very much for taking the time. Again, congrats. It's been really fun talking, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks
Cheers.
so much.